UTSA Sports Network. Live from Chicken and Pickle, this is the UTSA Basketball Coaches Show. The UTSA Basketball Coaches Show, brought to you by UT Health San Antonio, the official healthcare partner of UTSA Athletics. By HEB, here, everything's better. By Chicken and Pickle, home of the UTSA Coaches Shows. By Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. By Credit Human, become a member today. Visit credithuman.com. By North Park Subaru, proud member of the K-Lig Auto Group. By Cowboys Air Conditioning, the official HVAC partner of UTSA Athletics. And by Frost Bank, we're from here. Now, live from Chicken and Pickle, here's the voice of the Roadrunners, Andy Everett.
And good evening, everyone. It's time for basketball discussion on this Monday night as we kick off the UTSA basketball radio show for the 2025 season. And the conference season's underway for both the men's and women's basketball teams. And we start things off tonight with women's basketball coach Karen Aston. And you guys are off to the best start in UTSA history at 12-2. Congrats on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here tonight.
Talk about your success. What's been the key to being able to get off to such a great start?
I think some maturity, definitely on our team's part. I think we've evolved. We've added a young lady that you'll talk to tonight that's helped our maturity quite a bit. But we've also evolved. Players that have been here 2 or 3 years have grown up, and we're a little bit more mature in the process. The daily activities that it takes. I thought we had a good summer, a good fall, but it has a lot to do with retention of coaches, retention of players. We've just been able to build consistently throughout the last couple of years, and we hope that we can continue to do that this year.
And your 2 losses are to Texas A&M and Stanford, who are no slouches when it comes to women's basketball. They're part of the who's who of that hierarchy, and you had really good success against them, just fell a little bit short.
We did. I think if you asked the players, they would probably, I think they feel like they should have won both of those games. So, looking back at it, we were very competitive, but I think they were definitely games that maybe we didn't know we could have won, but we definitely could have.
When you start to have success like that, and then you get into some adverse situations in conference play, do you reflect back on that and say, this is how we did against Stanford, this is how we did against A&M, this is how we did in the wins that we have, and then are able to build on that? Because at some point you're going to play in a hostile environment in the league against a team that's pretty good too.
For sure. I thought it was ironic that both of those games, A&M and Stanford, was Education Day. They picked us for the 3,000 or 4,000 screaming kids, both games. So I think right off the bat when we played at A&M, I knew that this team was built a little bit different because that was a really loud crowd. First game of the year, and we handled it. We handled it really, really well. And I think at that point I knew that this team was going to be okay, and that like you said, there'll be other moments that are comparable to that, whether it's on the road or in the conference tournament. But they're built to handle that. It may not always be perfect, but I definitely think they're built different.
And I listened to some of the interviews you do with Neil after the games. Even when you win, there's things that you can work on, things that you can get better at, and you've been able to improve from game to game, even with having the winning streak that you're on.
Yeah, honestly, I thought that there were some games toward the end of non-conference play, obviously aside from the Stanford game, that we may have let our guard down a little bit and stopped getting better. I think we've probably, through the beginning of conference play, our attention has been gotten for sure, that there's some things that we need to be better at, and attention to detail needs to pick back up again, and I think that it will. If it doesn't, then we're probably going to have a disappointing game, but I think that we kind of let our guard down a little bit in non-conference play towards the end, and I'd like to see us reset a little bit there.
And you have one of the best players in the league in Jordan Jenkins, who's having another phenomenal year. Talk about her continued success.
She's healthy. I feel really fortunate to be able to coach her, first of all. Yeah, somebody's knocking on some wood somewhere. But, first of all, I feel blessed to coach a young lady like Jordan. She loves the game. She's really competitive, and she's grown so much as far as, leadership. Just being able to talk to players that may at that in that moment not be at the same level that she's at. I think she's learning how to teach and how to coach a little bit. But and her preparation every day has been really good this year. I'm super proud of her. I think she's the best player in the league. And just happy for her more than anything that she's healthy and able to play at the level that she's capable of.
There are games like your game this past weekend with Tulsa where she scores the bulk of the points, but there's been other games this year where I look at the box score and she's getting others involved, and others are taking an opportunity to get involved. So it's not always just her.
No, not at all. And that's kind of been the mystery in conference play so far as we start the game, and I think our whole team is having to try to figure out sort of how is the other team approaching us? How are they, what one team will, double team or triple team Jordan to try to make somebody else make a play, and I think we've had other kids really step up in that situation. And then I thought kind of in the Tulsa game, especially in the first half, they just sort of said, okay, we're going to let her score and maybe take away Nina and Sid, which I thought they did. So it's interesting to have us try to figure out that, but that's part of conference play. I think other teams do the same thing with what we're trying to do to them, and that's the beauty of when you get into conference play is people know each other really well.
And it's great to have a superstar that's coachable, but also a great teammate, getting everybody else involved.
Yeah, for sure. I think Jordan wants to win. I mean, sometimes it may come across as something different when she's frustrated. Things aren't going great, but I am proud of her growth in that area. I think she knows that she's going to get everybody's best shot, and I think she's learned how to focus on some different things and learned to maybe help her teammates along the way. And I think that the growth of our other players has helped her also. I think Nina's been really good for her because Nina has a super positive attitude, and she's not afraid to say some of the hard things that have to be said between teammates.
All right, and speaking of Nina, that's Nina De Leon Negron, and she'll join us in the next segment, and we'll get to her perspective of this great start for UTSA as she transferred from Incarnate Word before the season began. Looking for a new or pre-owned car? Look no further than Encira.com. Shop every make and model in one location and get a great low Encira price only at Encira.com. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network. women's basketball team score 88 points or more, Roadrunner fans can score $888. It's the $888 giveaway from Wayne Wright, the official injury attorney of UTSA Athletics. We had winners last year in women's basketball, and you can register to win at the your $888 at goutsa.com/promotions. We are joined on the program by Nina De Leon Negron, who is one of UTSA's basketball players and guard for this team. Welcome to the show. How are you tonight?
Good. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for joining us. You came over from Incarnate Word this year. Talk about the transfer over and why you chose to come here and play for the Roadrunners.
I would say it wasn't that hard just because like 20 minutes away. But it's definitely been something like really big for me. I'm really grateful to be here. It's different because there's like so much like stuff that I get to experience here that I wasn't experiencing there. Like, for example, like the crowd, like the games here be getting packed. UIW kind of wasn't like that. It's been really different with like the coaching staff, my teammates, so it's been definitely great.
What do you think of your teammates and your team? It's kind of unique that you meet them for the first time. Maybe you knew some of them being so close, but just having an opportunity to not only get to know them better, but to play with them, practice with them, travel with them, all of that.
I mean, it's been amazing. I would say like the first month, it was kind of like hard because, you know, we have been like rivals for 2 years, so I was kind of nervous. I would talk to Coach Jamie about it all the time, like, I don't think I'm fitting well, but I think I was just kind of like rushing the process, but it's definitely great right now.
That's because she talked so much crap to us when she played against us.
I had to.
Well, at least you're on this side of the fence now. That's
For
right,
sure.
aren't you? That's pretty cool. Talk about the success of this team. Off to a great start, the best in UTSA history, and the confidence that you get from one game to the next.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm not surprised. It's something that, I mean, I'm not saying I wasn't expecting it, but at the same time, I'm not surprised because our team is really talented. But yeah, it's definitely been great. It's great being part of a winning culture, I would say for sure. But yeah, it's definitely great.
All right, Karen, talk about the recruitment of her and how she got here and then what she's meant to this team. You talked about her leadership, especially with not only the young players, but with the veterans as well.
Yeah, I would say she kind of played hard to get with us for sure. It was an interesting process just from the standpoint of she's really mature. So I think she really wanted to be somewhere that she knew she would fit in and that she would have value. And, you know, when you look at our situation, you know, the biggest part of the conversations were, you know, how does she fit and is she going to be impactful? Because she wanted to be impactful on some team and get some value out of the process. And I think she looked at our team and thought, okay, Sydney's been playing the point, and it was a lot of conversations. I think, you know, her relationship and, you know, her wanting to be mentored with Jamie, you know, and understanding the value of having someone that really puts a lot of energy into guard play and point guard play and understands the dynamic of that was huge for us. But honestly, I think some of it was our players. You know, I mean, I think that she didn't know whether they would embrace her, and I think in the process it was easy to. I had the conversation with Sydney before Nina decided to come, and I said, you know, how do you feel about this? What do you think? And she's like, Coach, I want to win. I mean, she's a winner. She she talked trash to us when she played us, but maybe we need to get her over here and let her talk trash to other people. But I think, you know, our players want to win, and I think they knew, they could see in her what she brings to the table. Now, what I didn't know is would she be able to transition from a leadership standpoint so quickly, but her skills are amazing. I'm talking leadership skills. Her people skills and her leadership skills are off the charts, and it's been a joy to coach her.
And Nina, where did that come from? Where did you learn the leadership that you have, the maturity? I mean, I've known you now for 4 minutes here, and I can tell that you've got you know, some charisma for the team, and also just that assertiveness to take control.
If I'm being honest, I have no idea. I thought that everyone was supposed to be like that. I don't know. I think I was just born with it. I'm not sure.
All right, talk about playing with Jordan Jenkins, because as Karen said a few minutes ago, best player in the league, at least in our opinion. Talk about playing with her and knowing that when you throw her the ball, something good's probably going to happen.
I mean, I agree. She's the best player in the league, no doubt. But Jordan just makes my game easier. Like, the way that she talks on the floor, like how we communicate, how she just makes everyone better, because, I don't know, I mean, Tosa didn't decide to double her, so, like, it was just easy for her, just one-on-one. That's what she wants. That's what we want. Every time she gets doubled, that creates open shots for me. I haven't been used to that my 4 years of college because I've never had like such a good player in my team. So yeah, she just makes like everyone better at the same time. Like she just runs the floor. She just makes it easier for everybody.
What do you think about this team's chances as we move forward in the conference play and the challenges that lie ahead each and every night? Now you're kind of the hunted instead of the ones doing the hunting, so that's a little bit different situation.
For sure, and I don't think like people thought like that. I don't think that people thought that we were gonna be this good. At the same time, we see it like one game at a time. Like right now, we're focused on rise. Like we're not thinking about. Of course, we want to win. We want to win the championship. We want to win the conference. But at the same time, we're focused on the next game ahead.
What are you doing in the classroom, and what's your future life, including basketball, but after that as well?
So right now, I'm getting a certificate in health. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that, but I want to get into coaching. I want to see if I can play.
Getting
pro.
a certificate in basketball right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, right now I'm focused on basketball more than anything. But yeah, we'll like to get into coaching at some point.
You've learned some pretty good, got some pretty good mentors here with Karen and Jamie and the rest of the staff.
Oh, for sure, Coach Jamie's. I guess she's amazing. Sometimes I'm struggling in my shooting. Like the threes are just not going in when we're shooting, and she just says one thing, and I just fix it, and the next rep, the ball goes in. So I don't know. I guess she knows a little something. Same with
A
Coach.
little something.
Yeah,
She's been around a little bit. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
All right. Nina, thanks so much for spending a few minutes with us. All the best. Great success to you and the team. And I'll actually get to see you guys play on Saturday because we got the doubleheader coming up on Saturday. So keep up the winning streak.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
That's Nina De Leon DeGrone with us out here on the show. We'll have another segment with Karen, and then Austin Claunch will join us in the back half hour of the program. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show, and Nina's one of our USAA Stars of the Week, who serve in our the stars at USAA serve in our military is the official military appreciation sponsor of UTSA. Nina tonight will also visit with Primo Spears coming up in a little bit, and we're getting to know them better during our USAA Stars of the Week segment each week. More on the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network. diamond ring for your favorite Roadrunner. America's Diamond is going to make that happen with the Love Your Roadrunner promotion. Go to goutsa.com/promotions and register today, and you could be selected to win an America's Diamond ring at the men's home basketball game on February 8th, right before Valentine's Day. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show. We're out here at Chicken and Pickle. UTSA men tomorrow night will take on Tulsa. The women will play Rice on Wednesday, and we've got a doubleheader on Saturday that we'll tell you about later. Last year, Karen, you guys got to the semifinals in the conference tournament and had the lead late in the fourth quarter, could not hang on to that lead. How much has that motivated the players that have come back, knowing that you were that close to the championship game and have the opportunity again to do that this year if you can be in that position again?
I definitely think that I think it's motivated them, but I also think it kind of educated them, you know, if that makes sense. You know, just the process of getting the double bye and kind of understanding. I mean, I think we were so excited to get that, you know, after you get through with the tournament, you kind of understand nothing's guaranteed. You know, winning the league is not going to guarantee you to go to the tournament. I mean, there's just nothing guaranteed at all, and I think that was more educational for them. It was heartbreaking. There's no question about it. It's one of the hardest losses I've ever had as a coach. But I also think that now we have a better grasp of, you know, conference play is important, and then you go to the tournament, and it's something completely different. And as Rice exhibited last year, it doesn't matter what seed you are. They were 10th, I believe. It was a big tie. There were, you know, 5 through 10 was really jam-packed. But still, I mean, the bottom line is they were the 10th seed and they won. So I think that we have a better grasp of all of that.
You've got Rice on Wednesday night in the Convocation Center. Tell us about this version of the Owls.
They look very similar to last year's team that won the tournament. They have a change in the point guard position, but really everybody else is pretty much back. So you know, it's going to be a really big challenge for us Wednesday night.
When you look at the league, we were talking during the break, there you said South Florida is still kind of the benchmark of the league with what they've done historically, but there are a lot of good teams in the conference and not a lot of bad ones.
No, and I think that's the biggest difference from this year to last year is there were a couple of teams that struggled. I mean, just for lack of better words, they you know, they struggled, and now I see those teams that they're significantly better than they were last year. Their non-con records are better. They've already won conference games on the road at other people's houses, and I just think that, I mean, if you look at our conference, like, none of the home teams are winning. It's weird. So, you know, there's no telling how many losses. Again, South Florida is the clear favorite. They have a non-conference win against Duke, and everybody seems to think that they're a legitimate Sweet 16 team, to be honest with you. And so that'll be, they are the benchmark, and they have been in this league for quite some time since UConn left.
Yeah, and when you play a schedule like that, there are no easy outs. So like you said, maybe with a Florida Atlantic, if you play your best and they play their best, you're going to win. But when everybody's pretty equal, every game's kind of is a battle.
For sure, and I think some little things are going to come into play that, you know, sometimes they won't. They don't come into play if your league is not as balanced as this one is. But I think health is going to come into play, like just little things, travel. You know, you have a good balance of travel, and does it go well? You know, there's just going to be some things that impact, I think, possibly who wins the league.
All right, you built something really special here. We've seen some record attendance, and we've seen obviously a record start. How do you keep this going? I know getting there is hard. Staying there is sometimes even harder.
Keep my coaches around. I can say that. These guys that are sitting here tonight, you know, we got to keep these guys around because they're really, really good, and they make my life easier, and you know, they pour into the kids, and I think it's a great culture, and we enjoy what we're doing, so we'll just keep doing what we're doing.
All right. Thanks so much for being out here tonight, and we'll do it again next time. And
thank you.
Good luck against Rice and Wichita State this week. All right. That's Karen Aston, and that's the women's perspective of our show tonight. We'll hear from Austin Claunch in the second half hour of the show. You can save time after the game by ordering Taco Cabana online or at tacocabana.com on the MyTC loyalty app. Sign up for great rewards and exclusive offers only at Taco Cabana. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network.
There's something about...
This season, Roadrunner free throws are going to count for more than a point for every free throw UTSA men's and women's basketball teams score at home. Haven for Hope Shelter for the Homeless will receive a donation thanks to North Park Subaru. It's North Park Subaru's charity stripe benefiting Haven for Hope. Time to visit with Austin Claunch. But, Austin, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the show, we have the Austin Claunch bobblehead on display out here. And what do you think?
It's pretty nice, man. Not bad. I guess I hadn't shaved in a while, so.
Yeah. So the first 500 in the convo tomorrow get an Austin Claunch bobblehead. So that's pretty cool. You made it when you got a bobblehead, haven't you?
That's right. I guess so. So hopefully we can start a tradition. We win on bobblehead night.
That'll work. That'll be great. All right. Let's talk about this season. But before that, you were hired right before the Final Four last year. Got here right after the Final Four after your stint at Alabama. And the whirlwind tour that you had to go on to build a roster, to build a schedule, to build a culture, to do all of that. Talk about how that all kind of came to fruition and you were able to do it so well so quickly.
Well, yeah, and I feel like we're still doing it. I mean, we're just in the beginning kind of stages of laying, what we want our culture and groundwork to be. Had to assemble a staff pretty quick, had to, put together a roster pretty quick, and then now that we've done it once, hopefully this spring we have a little bit less work and a little bit more time to, get these guys here. It'll be good, hopefully, to have our whole team here participating in 2 summer sessions, right? And just little by little, just getting better at that whole process. But, I'm excited for, what we have coming as we move forward in conference play and hopefully start playing our best ball here, the next couple weeks.
6-7 overall, dropped the first conference game. When the team has played well, North Dakota comes to mind, that even the losses at St. Mary's and Arkansas, you've been really, really good. How do you find that consistency to play that well more often?
Yeah, I think in those games where you look at it, is we really valued the ball offensively and valued taking good shots and understanding just sort of, pace of the game and grinding out long possessions when we need to. I think when we struggled, we've just taken some unnecessary bad shots. And when you play good teams, Arkansas, Tulane, whoever the case may be, they're going to punish you on the other end. And I think on Saturday that was, clearly on display. Give Tulane a lot of credit because, they've played really well the last couple of weeks. But we helped them, too, with some of our shot selection and things like that. So I think in those games that you mentioned, we really valued assisted shots and just being patient and taking them when they came into possession.
We'll talk with Primo Spears in a little bit, but he's been a pretty consistent scorer for you all year long. But you got more than just him. It's several players on this team have really come up with some big contributions for you so far.
Yeah, no, Primo's obviously having an incredible year individually, and he's also been a big part of getting other guys, involved. And we're at our best when we've got multiple guys touching it and scoring throughout the course of the game. When we have 4 or 5 guys with, 9 to 12, 13, whatever the case may be, I think that's when you've seen us play our best basketball.
What do you think is the best thing you've done all year long and what you think you can build on the most going forward?
Well, that's hard. I think, defensively we have found some things that have worked, but we've really got to improve. Saturday we did not do a good job of coming out ready to get the stops we needed. And then I think offensively, again, like I just touched on, one thing that's always been a staple of mine is not turning the ball over, and we're turning it over. We're doing a good job of turning people over, but then on the flip side of that, we're not gaining enough from it because we're not valuing the ball and turning it over a little too much. So I think just taking care of the ball on offense, it starts with that and understanding that we got to grind out some long possessions. And then defensively, I think we've started to understand now who we want to be and continue to improve. And our zone's been pretty good when we've run it as well.
I want to single out a guy, and I've talked about this on pregame shows that we've done, and that's Raekwon Horton. And what I notice about him is that there's times when you really need to save a possession, or you need a rebound, or you need a putback, or you need some kind of something to happen. He figures out a way to make it happen. Talk about that aspect of his game, because I think that gets underrated sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, he's been a part of a lot of winning. A guy that's been to 2 NCAA tournaments at 2 different places. He just brings so much value and impact to the game, even when he doesn't have the ball, right? And I think as you grow as a program, the more guys you can get in your program like that, the more successful you're going to be. And I didn't even realize he played 40 minutes the other night, right? It's just one of those things, and I got to do a better job of probably getting him a rest. But it's just hard to take him off the floor because he's so valuable for what we do on both sides of the ball.
All right, we talked about Primo scoring. You got Scoot back midway through the non-conference season, Scoot Joseph, and there's another guy that can put the ball in the basket for you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think that's the strength of our team is we've got a lot of guys that can score it in different ways. Damari can really shoot it. Smurf can come off ball screens and make plays, and obviously Scoot is really dynamic, getting downhill and sort of can catch fire pretty quick. So again, I think we've just got to understand that there are going to be games where we can, win up there in the 80s or 90s, but we got to value getting stops. We got to value winning in the 60s, because in this league, man, there's so many close games, so many nights where you're going to have to ultimately get 3 stops in a row to finish and get a win.
All right, we're going to introduce you to Primo Spears coming up in the next segment and get his journey from Florida State to UTSA, and we'll do that coming up in the next segment. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance members can get 2 free tickets to regular football, basketball, and baseball games when you redeem online. Visit GoUTSA.com/TFE tickets to learn more and request tickets. Primo comes up next. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show. UTSA Sports Network. presented by UT Health San Antonio, the official healthcare partners of UTSA Athletics. See how UT Health San Antonio's brightest minds are making lives better at WeMakeLivesBetter.org. Another one of our USAA stars of the week is with Primo Spears, who right now is the 9th leading scorer in the nation and been amongst the top 5 for most of the year as well. Welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very well. Talk about coming to UTSA first. You've been one of the key consistent players on this team, but you had to make a decision to go someplace else after your time at Florida State. Why UTSA? How'd you get here?
Coach came late in my recruiting process, but I think our relationship is something that I didn't see during that period of recruiting. Just how we relate to each other in so many ways, has so many in common off the court. So on the court and how we gravitate to each other, it wasn't hard at all.
And what did he say, or what did you see here at UTSA that said, I got to come here for my final year?
Just the culture. I think him being at Alabama and watching some of his head coaching games at Nichols State, just how we gravitate to each other, my play style. And then off the court, just, battle rap, we have a lot in common. So we have a lot to talk about off the court. So I think on the court and how we feed off each other's energy.
Austin, in the pregame show the other day, I talked to you about Primo, and I'll talk to him about some of the things I've noticed in a minute. But you said I knew what kind of player I was getting. I didn't know for sure what kind of person I was getting, and it's been nothing but great with him. So kind of address that.
Well, that wasn't specifically for Primo.
Yeah.
I think when you recruit guys with 1 year left, it's very obvious to see the kind of player you're getting on film. When you have a 2 or 3 week recruitment, sometimes you can't be 1,000% until you get all your hands on him as a leader. How are they going to be? They're going to be great kids, but how is he going to be as a leader and a quarterback sort of for your team? And he's just been a model, a model for what you would want in that position. And sometimes that's hard for a guy with 1 year left, to come in and understand, he's never gonna practice in our practice facility, but I certainly hope there's a picture of him holding a trophy or slapping the floor in there because, he's such a big part of laying this foundation, and he's bought in from day one, everything we've asked him to do on both sides of the ball. And so I'm really proud of him and excited for what he's going to do, not just for the rest of this season, but when he's done playing here and moving forward.
Primo, I'm going to take you back to the Southwest Adventist game for this reason. I think you had 16 in the game. If you'd have wanted to, you could have scored 50. But you got everybody else involved. It was a day that LJ got to play, that Zach got to play, that everybody got to play. And there was a 3-on-1 break where you had an uncontested path to the basket and you gave it to somebody else. For somebody that is, and I don't know if you're even chasing a scoring title or if you care, it seemed like you don't. But just to be able to give up your shot for other teammates, I think is pretty special at any level, especially at this one.
Yeah, I think Coach just installed in me about legacy and culture here, and I think that's something I wanted to change about myself coming into the the collegiate level, just a winning culture. And I think coaches has installed that in me as soon as I got here, just what that looks like. And I think on the court you get to show in those type of games, what the core of our group is all about.
You've got in the starting lineup, or at least part of the time on the floor, you're out there with Smurf and also now with Scoot. And talk about the fact that you got 3 guys that can score it, but 3 guys that can handle the ball and get the team into its offense.
It's great. I think that's what we wanted to play in November, so it's great getting Scoot back out there and just, giving what Coach wants. Coach loves his guards, and he preaches that to us all the time. He calls me the quarterback, so I just love being able to, be him on the floor during that 40 minutes.
Austin, he's a great scorer. We know that. What else do you see on film and you see on the bus and around the team that you like as much as the fact that he's going to probably get 20 plus a night?
Yeah, well, just his voice. He's going to be a voice in the huddle. He's going to show up early. He's going to show up and do his work. He's going to prep for the game. I promise you he's going to go home and watch Tulsa tonight, and as we watch film tomorrow, he'll have questions. And it's a guy that's done a lot, in college basketball. He's scored a lot of points. He's won a lot of games. And he just has a focus and just a determination about him that makes it easy to root for him. And, you talk about all these points he scored. It's not, you never really feel like he's hunting points. He's a natural scorer. He's a great passer. And his defense. He takes a lot of pride on his, defensive side of the ball. And I love that he allows me to coach him and challenge him in other areas. I've been on his butt about rebounding, and then he comes out and gets 9 or 6, or he had 9 against Army maybe, and however many he had the other night. He wants to be a great player. And a sign of being a great player is a guy that wants you to, critique him and figure out areas where he can improve.
Primo, talk about that part, because again, a lot of people just want to go score it and get the name of the spotlight, but defense leads to offense. Rebounds are part of offense and part of getting stops. And you've been able to improve in other aspects of your game besides just scoring it.
Yeah, well, I know at the next level, I'm not going to be a 20 game a night. So I just, hang my hat on trying to, do what I can to show that I could play at the next level as well as win games. And I think defending and getting other guys involved is something I need to master if I want to play at the next level.
All right, you got a couple of games at home coming up with Tulsa and Wichita State this week. Tulsa's first. What have you seen so far about them? You're going to look to possibly have some success against tomorrow night.
Yeah, just a gritty team. I think they hang their hat on the guards as well as we do, so we just have to be the better three front or backcourt guys to be able to take over the game and lead our team to a victory.
You've seen some big time basketball in the ACC when you were at Florida State. How can you what do you take from that to kind of transition into what you're doing at UTSA to not only win games for yourself, but to kind of get the team accustomed to winning and playing winning basketball?
I mean, American Conference is great. I don't think it's a big step down in the physicality and talent at this level. So I just try to take bits and pieces that I got at the ACC level, the physicality and just how you read ball screens and stuff like that at this level is a little different. So you just try to get the hang of it, and I think I am as the game goes on.
In ways it's not hard, but other ways it is hard to take 14, 15 new guys that have never played together and say, mesh this together and do it in 13 games. How do you do that? How do you get better quicker with all the different aspects of this team that's kind of gluing together?
Just have a great leader to start off with, coach, and then just other people, like our coaching staff and the people we have in our locker room, just being great guys, great character, high character guys. I think the off the court is our biggest, X factor. How we handle ourselves off the court, the camaraderie of our group of guys. I think it'll show tomorrow night, how we make the big adjustment.
All right, thanks so much for joining us. Best of luck. Keep scoring points and keep doing what you're doing.
Appreciate you.
All right. That's Primo Spears with us out here at the UTSA Coaches Show. Again, this season, Roadrunner free throws are going to count for more than a point. For every free throw UTSA men's and women's basketball teams score at home, Haven for Hope Shelter for the Homeless gets a donation thanks to North Park Subaru. It's North Park Subaru's charity stripe benefiting Haven for Hope. One more segment with Austin. We'll do that next. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network. Back out here at Chicken and Pickle, it's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show. It's presented by UT Health San Antonio, the official healthcare partners of UTSA Athletics, and visiting with Austin Claunch. Tomorrow it's Tulsa. What did the Golden Hurricane bring to the convo tomorrow?
Yeah, they're a solid defensive team. They've got kind of a three-headed monster at the guard position. They can shoot it. They had a tough one on Saturday on the road against UAB, and then a close loss to Rice, their first game. So they're going to come out and desperate's not the right word, but they're going to come out and really play hard, trying to get their first win. Obviously, we're trying to do the same thing. And so, again, I have a lot of respect for Coach Conkle, and, I've followed his path from Louisiana Tech, and, he was at George Mason as an assistant, before I got there. But, again, a lot of respect for their program and what they do. So we're going to have to come out and play really good basketball.
Protecting home court, it's valuable in every league. I'm sure the same in the American Conference to establish kind of a this is our house mentality at home is usually pretty good success for the team that has the best record in the league. Talk about how you can potentially do that.
Yeah, well, I think, Coach Aston and the women have shown, just how good they are at home and how the crowd, impacts the game and just it's been fun to watch the success they've had, and certainly we're trying to replicate that. And I think it starts with, like I mentioned earlier, just our guys understanding what it takes to win in this league. I think every league is different. Of course, there are certain things that are valuable across basketball, but this league, on the men's side is, and on the women's side, it seems you really got to be willing to grind out possessions and finish tough plays, because there's so many games that come down to one or two possessions each night. So we've got to understand that. We've got to understand, every time we come out here that value the ball on both sides of it.
I've heard some of the people that are supposed to be experts say that it's Memphis's league, and then pretty much 2 through 14 is pretty even. Would you agree with that, or how do you assess the talent and how the teams stack up in the American Conference?
Well, they're certainly pretty good. I think you've got to give them a lot of credit. They've shown that in the non-conference that they've got a lot of older guys and got some guys that have even played in this league, and they certainly know what it takes to win in this league. But again, there's a lot of good teams. They played a really close game yesterday against North Texas, who's another really good team. So again, I think in college basketball in general, yeah, I know it kind of sounds like coach speak, but anyone can beat anyone on any given night. And I think in college sports you see that, across a lot of leagues and a lot of sports. You
won at Nichols. How do you take that winning success or some of the things you learned there that created the winning and turn that into what you want to do at UTSA?
Well, I think, you've got to understand that everything matters, and it truly is a process, even the little things. And we have huge dreams and goals here, but we have to dream big, but we have to focus small, right? And we have to have a great shoot around tomorrow and great preparation, and then go play, our style of basketball. And we just can't take any of that for granted. We're excited about the future and what it's going to be, and we plan on having, winning a lot of games here in the next 2 months. But we're not going to do that if we don't value the little things that go into building something every single day. And if we ultimately want to get where we want to get to, then you can't sacrifice those things.
How has recruiting changed for you at the college level? Because now through the signing period in April, you'll be changing the roster for next year and always trying to promote UTSA. Do you go after high school kids? Do you scour the portal? What's the plan or kind of your idea of how you'll build rosters in the future?
Yeah, I think it's both. I think you got to turn over every stone and identify the guys who are UTSA basketball players, whether they're high schoolers or transfers or junior college or international. What we've done in the past, you mentioned Nichols. A lot of people talk about the success we had with transfers, but we had 10 all-league guys in 5 years, and 5 of them were transfers, and 5 of them were high school players, and so to me it's a blend. You've got to ultimately find your Primo Spears and guys like that, but then also, you have to build it. And, I'm excited about the 2 freshmen, or I should say incoming freshmen that we currently have signed, and that class could grow as, here in the next couple of months.
All right, thanks so much for being out here again tonight, and we'll look forward to tomorrow against Tulsa.
I appreciate it.
All right, that is Austin Claunch. Thanks to him and to Primo, and also to Karen and to Nina for being on with us the first half of the hour. The next show is next Thursday, the 16th. We'll be having more details of that going forward. Thanks to Shane Carter for producing our show tonight. UTSA men's basketball tomorrow at 6:30 on the ticket. The women against Rice on Wednesday. Neil has that on 93.3 The Bull starting at 6. It's the UTSA Basketball Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network.